Stevie D, Rowan from Silver Tiger Media. How are you, man?
Oh, I'm doing good. It's a beautiful rainy. There's supposed to be tornadoes here in Texas, and I'm just sitting here in the hotel lobby, just waiting for the storm to hit.
Sounds like
So,
sensational fun.
yeah, good clean fun for the whole family. So, how you
Absolutely. Well,
doing?
catching up with you, which is a sensational thrill. Thank you very much for your time.
Hey, man, anytime, anytime.
It's such a thrill that we're going to see you back in Australia.
Yes,
March
sir.
2016 was the last time. We saw you in 2013 before that. What killer shows they
Hmm.
were, all of them. Are you looking forward to coming back?
Absolutely. We've been there obviously a couple times. Once with Steel Panther and on our own, and and this time we're coming with Hardcore Superstar. Some great friends of ours, fantastic songwriters, killer musicians, but on top of that, lovely human beings, and we couldn't be more thrilled to be sharing the stage with those guys. Love them,
Absolutely.
love them.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can't
man.
wait to see them back as well. It'll be tremendous. I have to tell you, but I've got some killer shots of you from 2016 taken by my beautiful wife. But you were still an avid photographer yourself.
Yeah, and then in the last few years, it's slowed down a little bit because I've taken over for the production end of things here in the music. Josh and I did another band called The Conflict, was writing and producing for that, and then writing and producing for Warpaint. So uh, it's taken a backseat, but now that we're on the road again, it's picked up a bit. So yeah.
Oh,
And
tremendous.
out here shooting film. So yeah,
There we go. I mean,
yeah,
I
man.
think you must have helped all of the photographers get some shots along the way. Do you find when you're performing, you do consciously slow down a little bit for the togs in the pit?
Yeah, I mean, I know what it's like. I mean, live photography, concert photography, sports photography is no easy feat, especially the live music photography because the lights change so quickly, and a lot of the pros shooting manual these days. So the lights changing so quickly, it just compounds things, especially if the guys are moving around. So having knowing this, I just kind of slow down a little bit so they can kind of get what they need. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
yeah,
tremendous.
yeah, man.
Brilliant stuff. Now, of course, speaking of live shows, you guys have kicked off leg two of the 2019 Warpaint Tour, hence you're sitting in Texas. How has the new album been received by live audiences so far?
So far, it's been fantastic. We've been out here for a few months now, and we obviously we've taken a break. We took a break, um, and we come back to welcoming open arms, a warm welcome, um, with some new members, new material, and a new label. There's a lot kind of kind of just waiting to see how the public was going to react and our crowd. So we couldn't be happier, and we're very grateful.
Oh, magnificent news. And would you describe for me what you see from the stage when song commences? I mean, it's the venue all cigarette lighters and iPhones lit up ready for you?
um, yeah, when Josh came to me and he said, I want our version of Purple Rain.
Mm.
Having being a lifelong Prince fan, um, yeah, I had my work cut out for me, and to deliver a big chorus and an emotional, meaningful verse section and bridge section. Um, when we get to play that live, and especially when I hit the guitar solo bit, um, the payoff is really big. And again, uh, I call those God moments when everyone's got their lighters up and their cell phones or their mobile phones up, and it's and singing along. Uh, the album hasn't been out that long, and when I see people singing, sometimes crying, it's a big moment for me.
Oh, magnificent. Beautifully put, too. And you mentioned in the Year of the Tiger and, of course, Prince. You and Josh wrote the entire Year of the Tiger album with Josh Todd and the Conflict, with Greg and Sean, of course, a brilliant album and never too far from our turntable. You
Yeah.
included the song Erotic City by Prince. Why did you include that particular track?
Uh, having been, again, lifelong Prince fans, and uh, it just seemed, we've always tried covers. We do it at rehearsal, we do it in the studio just to kind of warm up. And at that point in time, we were hot on some old Prince, and as simple as it is, as we connected with that one, and it just sounded right. So, um, and it came and it recorded well. So, yeah, it was a no brainer for us. Just like Head Like a Hole.
Yeah,
Uh,
yep.
we're huge Trent Reznor fans, and we approached that one a little differently than, let's say, we approached Prince. We went a little bit more organic, more guitars and real drums, and because we had to be respectful to his art form, but we had to also make it ours. And I think we got that across the finish line in the same fashion. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Now, as much as Warpaint has captured that classic Buckcherry sound, your writing contribution has shone through on this record. Your unmistakable style that goes back to De-Evolution with Automatic Black, that scent
Oh
of
my gosh!
Warpaint.
Wow! Thank you for doing your homework. That's
Oh, not
great.
at all. Very least I can do. We're tremendous fans of yours and Buckcherry, but I understand
Yeah.
that Warpaint, the tracks were materializing during the writing of Year of the Tiger. Would that be about right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we spent about 2 years documenting songs and riffs and vocal melodies, um, and it was it's a, we wrote maybe 40 plus songs through 2 years,
Wow.
and then whittled that down to 20. And then with the help of management, our label, and our producer Mike Palatnikoff, we settled on 10 12 songs that would eventually become Warpaint.
Indeed, you did. And that was, of course, 2017 release from Josh Todd and the Conflict, then
Yes, Year
released
of the Tiger.
Warpaint this year, most certainly Year
Yeah.
of the Tiger. And
Yeah.
the year before that, you released the EP of Spray Gun Warfare, which is, again, tremendous. It's a very different sound for you, but it's just ripper stuff, and the video clips are
Yeah.
awesome. Was that the
Yeah.
beginnings of your formal writing with Josh, or does it go back even further than that?
No, I mean, we've been friends since the early '90s, and we've always been messing around with songs um, and listening to songs. We really established our songwriting language between each other. We started with Spray Gun War and really developed that between right before Year of the Tiger, and I think we hit a stride right around then. Um, and then it was in full stride with right before Warpaint. We could get songs done in a matter of a day, um, if both of us were connecting on each part. So the songwriting process. Josh will bring in a melody line for a chorus, and if I connect with it, I will go ahead and build the full song around that, verses, chorus, and bridges, uh, and vice versa. I'll write a riff. If he connects with the verse and chorus, then I'll go ahead and finish the song around that. So we have a pretty smooth, seamless songwriting and language at this point. So it really helps.
Stevie, this is a bit of a personal question, so please feel free to tell me to piss off if necessary. As
No,
you said, you
never.
came out to LA in the 90s and spent time with JT back then as roommates. Went back to
Hmm.
Chicago, and without asking about that time period, you returned
Yeah,
back to LA in 2000 and really haven't looked back
yeah.
since. As your writing becomes so refined in recent years, particularly, do you look back and see, for you and Josh, I guess, if we can settle it up, do you see
Uh-huh.
music as a bit of a sort of a savior for you at all?
Absolutely. Especially, I mean, back then, I was, it's no secret. I've talked about it before. I had a problem with drugs, and I was kind of running in circles at that point, trying to figure it all out. I got sober in 2000, and still, it's been a lifelong process. And by the time War Paint came around, in that 2 years, I was going through a lot of personal uh, uh, issues, as it were,
Mm.
as well as professional. It's no secret that the band splintered at that point. So there was a lot on my plate, and songwriting was a way, very cathartic, very a way to take me out of the pain that was going on during that time, and also as a distraction. Also, it was a way to help me deal with um, the things that were going on then. So uh, yeah, I don't know where I'd be without that outlet. You know.
Yeah, cathartic is such an important word in those circumstances. I agree. You joined
Yeah.
Buckcherry in 2005, and I won't for a second intrude upon your privacy or that of the band by asking about barriers to writing, but it must feel so good now to have your own signature from a writing perspective on a band with a 20-year plus history, a band that you loved right from the first time seeing them.
Sure. I mean, I was a huge fan of Buckcherry before I joined the band, and it's no secret that it was Keith and Josh's band. My duties changed profoundly when Keith left. We were already on the path to uh, the conflict, but it wasn't set in stone yet. And as soon as the band splintered, that's when everything was kicked into high gear, and it was really trial by fire. I had no option to uh, but be the best I could be. The best guitar player I could be. I was the only guitar player at that point, and the best writer and producer at that point, which I had done none of. Well, I hadn't done any producing at that point with
Mm.
Buckcherry. So, um, and it was all successful. And so, in a way, you know, I know it wasn't a great situation to start out with, but a lot of great things came from it.
But you seem to thrive from that. I mean, this to me, Warpaint is so reminiscent of 15. You came on board with Buckcherry and co wrote Out of Line, Onset, Broken Glass,
Yeah,
but more importantly, I believe at least your presence helped revitalize the band around the time of 15. But so many
yeah,
similarities. A lineup change, working with Mike Plotnikov, as you said earlier, and
I
boom,
know.
Buckcherry are
I
killing
know.
it for another 14 years. Do you
Yeah,
find the similarities are evident for you too?
yeah, I've talked with Josh about that, at length. I mean, it's a whole different time, but the circumstances and the atmosphere, the environment were very similar. We're all coming out of splintered projects. You know what I mean? And we got with Mike Plotnikov. Uh, there was only one option, and that was to succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. And we're also joining forces with guys that we've known for a long time. We could have called anybody to fill those slots, but we what we did was we called guys that we knew that we could do a lot of miles with, and we had known for a long time. We've known Kevin and Francis since the early '90s. They were around back then, carrying the torch for rock and roll, um, with other bands in Hollywood. So, and that's kind of what Buckcherry did in 2005. It was they could have
Mm.
called anyone back then too, but they called old friends. So, and the result is very similar. We're writing because of our love for rock and roll. We weren't writing for any other reason. What we did though is we employed, Mike Plotnikov, who's been part of the rock and roll landscape or the active rock landscape, to kind of tailor our sound to what's going on out there. But we didn't have to change a thing as far as who we are or how we write, or how we set our amps. You know what I mean? That was
Oh,
what
wow.
the end. That the end result is sonically. is all because of Mike and a guy named Hatch.
There we go.
So, yeah, man.
With Hatch, I mean, what you created in Warpaint literally blew my hair back straight away. The fact is that we had no right to expect something so good and had no idea that that was coming. But as you say, Francis, I mean, the guy who has been pretty much drum tech for everybody, the man who filled in for Mickey
Right.
D with Motorhead in '09. I mean,
Right. The guy's a monster. The guy is a monster. And, I'd known him previously, and didn't really put two and two together. And then I saw a video of him just checking drums for Slayer, and I was like, why isn't this guy in a fucking band? And turns out, he was supposed to be in this band. So
absolutely, and the same could be said for Kevin. I mean, to Kevin Regan as singer, songwriter, producer.
I mean, both are superstars in their own right, and we were really lucky to have both of them. Same with Kelly. Kelly has been, he's played with Dave Mustaine, Paul Gilbert, Fear, so we've got some serious superstars happening.
And it's great to hear. I was only just talking to Josh about Kelly, and it's fantastic to hear he's in third year of remission now and still going strong.
Yeah,
I mean, if anyone could kick cancer's ass, it's Kelly.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's if you could just get that guy to shut up, in the front lounge. No, I'm kidding. I love him, and he is. He's probably. I'd argue anyone. Bet me you can find somebody, a better bass player in rock and roll than him.
Oh, yeah.
He's the best.
So well put.
Yeah.
I've got to tell you, Stevie, sitting here chatting with you, I can't help but think about the official video for Bent. I mean, it's brilliantly filmed on the Warpaint tour in the UK and provides an excellent 3.5-minute account of Buckcherry on the road. I can't help but feel this is one of those moments, one of those snapshots. Is that video a good representation of what it's like for you on tour, or according to your memory?
I would say so. I would. That was, I think, a week and a half in the life of, and that's exactly the way it looks. Is exactly how it felt to me. With the exception of the sleep deprivation, and the task of finding a clean toilet in the morning, I'd say it was pretty spot on.
Magnificent. Of course, Head Like a Hole is again killer stuff to watch in preparation for your arrival down under. But you've wrapped up filming now for right now on May 8th, and we're still sitting here ready for that one. What's the news with that video? Have you heard anything about its release?
What we did is we wanted to connect with some sort of sports outlet. And kind of, just kind of team up and kind of co-brand. But I think because of the moment and what the lyrics speak on, and it's about, maybe an individual or an athlete or anyone really who is who feels their moment is right now. And we teamed up with Jose Mangan and his brand Affliction. He's on satellite radio. I'm sure. Do you get him over there?
Yes, we do. Yes.
And so we went to his gym in Southern California and filmed a bunch of the fighters there. And we literally filmed in the next room over, where he's got a clothes store and a live room where he does his show and has bands play. So. But yeah, it was a great experience, a lot of fun, and these fighters are badass. I can't wait for you to see them.
Oh, we can't wait to see it, absolutely. And as we prepare for your return to Australia and the celebration that will captivate us all of your fans out here, would you tell me how it feels to write a song, to nurture it, to perfect it, and then watch it take its first steps into life as a live track? What's that like?
It's exhilarating. It's scary, because you put your heart and soul into something, and as an artist, at some level you want to share it with other people, Otherwise, I mean, you could do your